Joining us now, BYU TV analyst, former BYU basketball standout, and a man wearing the conductor's hat right now.
Wow.
Anson Windor.
Chew.
Anson.
That was so enthusiastic.
It's now come to a scenario where BYU needs to win all 3 games in Vegas to get in the tournament. Why don the conductor's cap right now?
Because I'm a firm believer in the Vegas tournament this year. I know we talked about it before, but Vegas is huge, and the fact that they just have to go down to Vegas. I know it's just go down to Vegas and put 3 wins together, but it can be done. It's proven before they beat everyone in this league at least once. So I have no doubt they can go down to Vegas and win some games.
What gives you so much confidence in that? Because I think we all agree that BYU can do it, but you're saying like, hey, they're gonna. Are you saying they're going to do it?
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, we've mentioned it. They beat Santa Clara, pretty good. They've beaten St. Mary's. It's proven they can beat St. Mary's, and they beat Gonzaga. And to lose to Gonzaga by 3 shows that, hey, it's a winnable game.
Shooting 32%.
Shooting 32%, and with some questionable calls at the end also, and some missed calls that, we may not talk about or dive into. But
just a friendly hug on Collinsworth.
I mean, and those things could change the course of a game, and it's easily winnable.
Anson Windor with us on BYU Sports Nation. Okay, let's give that game its due credit. What did you see? Because Kyle Collinsworth said, hey, there are positives that we can take away from the game. What did you see that was positive for BYU against Gonzaga?
To shoot so poorly and still be in the game is promising. It shows that you can still hang with the team and not doing what you do best, which is shooting the ball. Played some defense. Exactly. Of course, you'd like to see them limit more points in the paint for Gonzaga the next time around. If they get that chance to play them again, you want to keep them out of the paint as much as possible. But, yeah, they've shown that they can make a stand on defense and use that to kind of keep them in games.
Nick Emery is averaging 7 points a game against Gonzaga. Certainly he can play better. Where do you think Nick can improve his game to help BYU? Because he looks like the Y factor against the Zags.
I think if he could use his creativity to get to the rim, maybe draw fouls on the bigs, that could definitely help with BYU on the offensive and defensive end. I think one factor that helped with BYU on the road at Gonzaga was that Sabonis was barely playing. Mm-hmm. We got them in foul trouble early. If they can do something like that in Vegas again to start, that would be huge.
Anson Windor with us on BYUSN as we look ahead now to BYU going to the Las Vegas tournament off of a loss to Gonzaga. And Nick Emery didn't have his best game. He's been huge for BYU, hit that huge shot at Gonzaga to let the Cougars in Spokane, but missed a couple of shots down the stretch. So what's your take on Nick Emery and him only averaging 7 points a game in the 2 against Gonzaga?
I take this as fuel to the fire for him. I think that he should use this to get him going. The fact that the word's kind of out that he can't, or he hasn't done it, he's done it against everybody but Gonzaga. That should only entice him to want to do it even more down to Vegas, especially on that stage where that's the biggest stage of the year. Life's on the line in a sense because if you don't win this, you may not be going to the tournament. So to perform at the highest level on the biggest stage, that'll be a task that I think he can complete.
Yeah, he's certainly capable of doing it, and 7 points a game is probably his weakest performance against any given opponent in the league. So I expect Nick to be a lot better in Vegas. I argued that game didn't matter. Which sounds weird. I know it sounds crazy, but I just don't think it mattered for the reasons that I told you during the break and outlined at the beginning. Did that game matter?
It'd be tough to say that any game throughout the course of the year didn't matter. I think in a sense that if you win or lose, you weren't going to win the conference. Yeah, in that regard, it didn't matter to that regard. But in preparation for the tournament, you want to get a win. And maybe in hindsight, if they win the tournament, this could be beneficial and say, hey, look, maybe the fact that they lost that game kind of sparked the flame and got them angry.
Because it sparked them.
Kyle said we're hungrier now because we lost. So he was feeling the other way.
And if you look at and of course these are 2 different teams, but last year when we beat Gonzaga at Gonzaga, you could tell they were pretty angry coming into the tournament, and they took it out
Tuesday night.
Yeah, they took it out on a Tuesday night in Vegas. So if we could have that same effect down in Vegas, the loss will be something that you can take.
Players mentality. How do you overcome a loss like that? Disappointing senior night. It's a shot at the time at a West Coast Conference championship. How do you overcome that and get to the tournament with the right mindset?
Oh, it's all about your preparation this week. It's a game you lost, but the fact that you can play this team again, hopefully in less than a week, is something that would would get me amped up again to play. You know, I wouldn't soak over this loss just because you have so much more to play for. The season isn't over. BYU and everyone's known for a while that we're probably going to have to win the tournament. So that's no surprise there. So the fact that the tournament's here now, it's just all about your preparation.
I forgot that you were wearing the hat for a second. I was like,
Oh,
yeah,
really?
he's wearing a hat.
The whole segment thus far.
You guys are both touching on something interesting, which is no one's bummed that BYU lost this game. No one's bummed because
no, Coach Rose is probably
because you play them in a week and you have a chance for redemption. At-large ability was probably gone anyway. That's why I say in the big scheme of things, it just didn't really matter that much. Yeah. You can go into Vegas, you can beat them, and you have the last laugh. Like it mattered, but not really.
Yeah, I think you use this as a learning and teaching point for the younger guys, just showing, hey, this is a big game, and you want to play a big game like this right before the tournament to help prepare you for that stage. And hey, if they can go down and string together some wins, like I said, it'll be beneficial.
BYU feels like, we shot the ball really poorly, and there were some terrible calls down the stretch, and we didn't execute. If we just do maybe one of those three things a little more effectively,
win the game.
You do all those things and you lose by 3.
So no, I don't feel like anyone's more worried because BYU lost from Saturday. I don't.
I think one tool that or the task that you have at hand is controlling those bigs next time around. No doubt I think they'll shoot better down in Vegas. I hope they do because you shoot. I think they shot 32%. You said they shoot 35 or 40%, then you easily win the game.
And I was wrong. It was 31.
31%. Yeah, so you shoot a little bit better than that. You definitely win the game. Then that's a factor of 1 or 2 more threes. So,
Anson Windor with us in Studio B as we move ahead to the West Coast Conference Tournament in Vegas. BYU in a situation where they need to win all 3 games to get into the NCAA tournament. And how is preparing for that tournament, let's say, any different than preparing for a game in the regular season?
I think it's different in the way that you have to manage your body. You can't go out and kill yourself this week, and I don't think Coach will do that just because you have to be healthy enough to play 3 games and prepare to play 3 games. I think that was just going back to last year, what we did so well was that we practiced but didn't practice hard. We practiced hard but not long. There were short practices, but we did our game plans. We kept it short. And went down to Vegas feeling fresh and minds were clear, and we had good practices down in Vegas. And I think Coach will take that same mindset to get to the championship, and it's all about your focus. I think if you're focused on winning each game, taking it a game at a time, not overlooking any team that you play, you'll get to Tuesday night, and it'll be a good night.
We've absolutely, in our Twitter question, overlooked Santa Clara today. BYU won by an average of 35. Last year, it was 28, yet that was a 2-point game. Give us an idea of what it's like to go into a game like that with Santa Clara again, where you did crush them and you expect to win that game. Yet, it was close last year.
I think you look at your way conference play was and you beat them by so many points, you automatically assume, okay, we're going to win by 30 anyways. But you forget that they're a team that doesn't have anything to lose either. So all of your conference wins and game points scored, all that goes out the window. And you get a team that says, hey, we will go out, fighting. And that's what happened last year in Vegas. We kind of overlooked them. And, they come out hitting shots, and it takes the last second shot for us to win.
A couple of differences in this year's matchup, in my opinion, that will make a factor that will benefit BYU is the Cougars are coming off of a loss, and they have not lost back-to-back games all year. So the fire will be there immediately, and the desperation factor is that much higher for BYU. And also, Jared Brownridge had a running mate last year at Santa Clara with Brandon Clark, and now he's kind of a one-man show. So I just don't, as much as I want to not disrespect Santa Clara, I just don't see any way that BYU lets that game fall.
And totally, what we've seen the past few weeks from BYU is that defensive mindset that we maybe didn't see at the beginning of the year. So I think their focus on Brownridge will be, pretty consistent. I think they'll guard him well from the 3-point line, and just throughout the course of the game, they'll have men guarding him and making it hard for him to score and taking contested shots. So I don't see that being a problem. I'd like to assume that they'll win this game. It's just a matter of not overlooking Santa Clara because it could easily be done.
So Santa Clara Saturday, you win that. You play likely Gonzaga on Monday. What's it like trying to win 3 games in 4 days? And did you get Tuesday night? By the time you play the game, are you tired? Because you played 2 games in 3 days.
I think by the time you get to Tuesday, your body is a little tired, but your mind is just wandering. So I think that right there can kind of carry you through. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't tired come those Tuesday nights because we played in the championship twice. So yeah, definitely you feel it because those games are meaningful, and I think those are the hardest games you'll play. You'll play a different Santa Clara team, and if you play Gonzaga on Monday, it'll be a different Gonzaga team. Everyone's going to be playing their hardest, to win the game. So fatigue will be an issue, and it just be a matter of managing your body and getting rest and staying hydrated and all those good things.
It's interesting to see this scenario for BYU because BYU will have to do 3 distinct things they haven't done yet in West Coast Conference play. Beat Gonzaga in Vegas, which is next Monday, 1 week from now, overlooking Santa Clara. Play St. Mary's probably for the first time in Vegas. Haven't even played them, let alone beat them. And then win that tournament. You've got the hat on.
I got the hat on.
Are you you're calling your shot right now that BYU is going to win the West Coast Conference tournament?
I'm calling it right now that they'll win the tournament.
Look at that.
And
not even Spencer Linton is calling a shot.
And hopefully,
right now on Monday, February 29th.
Hopefully, I'm not lying and misleading everyone. But hey, I think so, and I'll keep the hat on until then. Or next time I'm on, I'll have the hat on saying, "Hey, we won."
I think if BYU gets through Gonzaga next Monday, they win Tuesday.
I think so.
Because that's the biggest test.
I think
beating Gonzaga there. It's bigger than playing St. Mary's.
I totally agree. I think in the way that BYU beat St. Mary's here shows that the game will be Monday against Gonzaga.
BYU headed to Las Vegas. Anson Windor rocking the turn cap. Oh,
today.
dude, he is absolutely calling his shot.
The Vegas dude ready for Vegas.
With gusto. Yeah, does that have something to do with
Lady
this?
Luck will be on our side.